So I've got my piston, I've got the windows all cleaned up, and I've also got some transfer fluid on here. Now that's going to do, well, quite a few things actually. What I was trying to do was come off of here, and I came off of here 20 thousandths, so just under a 1/4 inch. I've heard that's a pretty good spot to be as far as the width of your intake and your exhaust. And then also a line right here, so I know where the edges are for the windows to clean up those transfers. So there's a little close-up of the windows after the cleanup. And then I'm also going to, on the exhaust side, mark the bottom of the exhaust port at top dead center. And on the intake side, I'm going to mark on here where I actually want the degrees, but I think I'm going to start cleaning up the, because I need to lower that intake deck or intake floor quite a bit. So I'm going to clean up inside the cylinder, and then if I don't get to my numbers as far as duration, then I'm going to take off on the piston, and I want to take off equal amounts on both sides, and I want to make sure that the exhaust side is going to stay underneath by quite a ways from the exhaust port. So I'm going to get this on the cylinder and see if we can transfer some of this into the cylinder, and that'll save me some work actually measuring things. Alright, I got my piston in here with the layout fluid on it. Now what I think I'm going to have to do is probably angle it forward. And then also angle it backward. Now hopefully some of that transfer fluid, or layout fluid, actually transferred. Yeah, I don't see anything transferred. Oh, there's a little bit right there. Little tiny bit right there. Okay, well, that idea didn't work. Alright, so here's something really interesting. The intake is actually offset to one side of the piston, with the piston aligned with the holes perfectly perpendicular. Yeah, the intake is off to one side, which is weird. Now on the exhaust side, that one's going to be easy enough. I'm actually just going to go in here and make a mark in that transfer fluid, and I can see exactly where my port's lining up with the piston. But then you can see here on the transfer side, right down there, the transfers are not anywhere near the width of the windows in the piston. So, I mean, just looking down there, I've got lots and lots and lots of room. But you have to keep in mind the outside isn't designed to expand all the way to the outside. And I was pretty hesitant on this this piston to do anything. This is the made in Italy, Italy Tech or something, and they've got those new holzfforma saws with the Italy Tech stuff in them as standard stuff. So basically, my plan now is to start dropping the floor little by little, and I think essentially what I'm going to have to do, being I need to go so far down, is to take material off of the piston. So we'll get the piston marked up again on the layout fluid to see where we're at. I can also get a measurement there. I'll show you here in a second. Alright, let's see if we're still at top dead center here. I've got my piston stop. Put that in here. And we're going to be going around top dead center. So right here we're at 2035, and right over here we're at 40, so we need to be moving somewhere toward 37.5, and now we're at 38 there, 6, 7, and okay. Yeah, that's 38. And we're 38 here. Yeah. Okay, back at top dead center. Alright, so now with a scribe, I want to go to top dead center, and I want to scribe on the piston with my scribe where we're at top dead center. Okay, and now we can also come down here, let's just say to 45, right? We're halfway between. Scribe a line, and then go 10 degrees. To right there. Scribe another line. So now we'll know the distance of 10 degrees. Okay. And then on the intake side, let's see what we want to do here. Going down. Cracking open right there. 70 degrees. Yeah, we've only got 140 degrees total opening time. It's so easy to do when you're looking at the wheel like that, right? You're going toward top dead center, so 70 times 2 gives our total opening time. And we need to go, I want to go to like 80, right? So we need 10 more degrees. So let's just mark on there what that's going to be, even though I'm not going to grind off the piston that much, but let's go make a mark on there. And then let's see what 10 degrees off of the 10 degrees off of the bottom of the other side looks like. Yeah, let's double check our squish while we're in here. So I cleaned up the bottom of this cylinder, and I just want to double check that I'm getting a good squish measurement. Alright, so just to get an idea of where we're at here, I marked, so this is my exhaust side, intake side, right? On this side, I marked at the very bottom where I actually need my timing numbers to get to, I think I wanted 156 on the intake duration. So you can see there, that's how much material I would have to take off to get there. Now on the exhaust side, oh look, there's the top dead center, so I've got a bunch of material there. I could just take off that material on either side of the piston, and I may do that. Right here is top dead center, and then there is 10 degrees. So as you can see there, and we'll measure that. But I wanted to show you here, the intake is actually offset. So the intake is like this, and it goes all the way over to here. So there's my intake opening. So I really don't want to, I don't want to take off any of the intake on this side. So looking at it straight in, it's going to be, well, we'll take a look at it here. So here's the piston going up and down. The intake is offset this way, so I don't want to take off any material on this side. I can maybe take off a little on this side, but there again, you're getting into your vacuum. So essentially what I'm going to do is just drop the floor. I'm going to redo this once I remove as much material as I think is, possible without... There's a lot of material inside of here that I can remove, so... I've got that far to go. I'm just going to start kind of hogging it out. And then on the exhaust side, let's see here. Okay, the edges of the exhaust are right up against this line. So I've only got 20 thousandths between the edges of this port and right there. So let's grab our numbers and see if let's lay out in here how we're going to get to our numbers on our exhaust side. Okay, so that ended up working out, and you can see there, let's see, I guess down there, it's looking at the exhaust port, and right on top of the exhaust port is that piston ring. And you can see there it's not very much at all, it's almost nothing. We'll see if the Sharpie can even leave a mark there. I've got my cylinder pretty well all laid out here. And you can see in there the transfers. I'm going to just go around to the edges and then take it closer to this edge here. On this exhaust port, you can see the line at the top of the port there. And on the intake side here, again, at the floor of the port, and not removing anything off of this side. It's already all the way out there. Alright, I just kind of wanted to show you guys what the end result here is. And let's see here. So that there is my exhaust port. And then here's the transfers. And you can see there I didn't really widen them, I just elongated them and made them a little bit smoother. Intake, you can see there I got an X on the side that is already as far as we want it to go to make sure that I knew that I didn't want to do anything there. I got the IRONHORSE little horns on there, little mini ones. I didn't want to go too far, I'm not quite that experienced yet, but there's my other transfer. And let's see if we can look down. Yeah, get a pretty decent view there. Nice D shape. One thing I wanted to point out here, if you look at the casting, you can see like one side of it is slightly up and one side is slightly down along this parting line. And that was the same inside of here as I was grinding, and actually when I was looking at my light coming through to get my timing numbers, like this side opened and this side didn't, or vice versa there. So I had to drop this side down more into the top of the jug to get it to line up with this one to make it symmetrical. So just something to look out there. This kind of had the same thing going on here, where one side was just a little bit down and one side was up. So as I was trying to get it symmetrical in there, and this is going to be with the floor there. Again, trying to get that symmetrical, taking into account the parting lines there. So let's put it back on the cylinder right there and see what our final timing numbers turned out to be. So what I did was, I had a long ways to go on the intake duration. So I actually ended up putting the piston in the lathe and taking 40 thousandths off of the skirt. And again, 1 thousandths was about equal to 1 degree. So I ended up getting about 4 degrees additional intake duration by taking 4 thousandths off the bottom of that skirt. Does that make sense? The piston skirts come down like that. I took 4 thousandths off. Now the intake opens and closes during a longer duration. So all these numbers I'm going to be talking about here are in terms of duration. And using this wheel here, I guess it's, I mean, this is the Motion Pro. This is the common one that everybody's going to kind of have. I don't know why anybody doesn't see, like for the exhaust, after top dead center, that exhaust is going to open somewhere past 90, right? And I was shooting for 80, I was shooting for 160, seeing as how those highway pistons come about 160 stock, so maybe even a little bit more. And I'm actually going to drop this down. So let's kind of recap here. Our squish was 25 thousandths with no gasket. Now I had ordered some UHMW. I was going to tool this up in the lathe and take off like 6 thousandths so I could be at 19, and then with the gasket be at around 21, 22. But I actually ordered the wrong UHMW, the wrong size. I used the wrong conversion chart or something. I don't know. But anyways, after 90 you get down to 80, and then it's 80 to bottom dead center, and then bottom dead center about up to 80. So all you've got to do is multiply by 2 to get your total duration, which just makes a whole lot of sense. I don't know why other people aren't doing that, but let's see where we ended up. We were shooting for 80, which would be 160. Okay, so I put a flashlight. Let's turn this one off. Put a flashlight on here. Let's go back up to top dead center and then come down. And I'm getting first opens right there, which is right exactly where I was kind of shooting for, 81. 81 there. And then we can continue down to the transfers opening, which is going to be somewheres in there. And let's just call that, let's see, 57. So there's 24. So we've got 24 degrees of blowdown. That's really good. That's going to make it kind of a more powerful saw, I think. And then the intake, again, it was 71. After I took down the piston skirt, we got to 70. Well, it was 70, between 70 and 71, which gave an intake duration of, it was initially 141. I mean, that was a huge number to overcome. We got up to 74, so we had 148, and then the remainder of it, I did the grinding in the piston, or in the cylinder there. So let's see, intake is open, right there is just barely cracked, and again, we are going to top dead center. Look at that. So I am at 78, which is going to be right what I was shooting for, 156. 78 times 2. We got 78, and then 2 top dead center, and then back down to when it closes, which is going to be there, which is actually at 80. So we've got then 78 plus 80, or 79 plus 79, so somewheres in there is going to be our intake duration, which is going to be, what, 158, 156 to 158. Just wanted to show you guys something quick here. The transfers right there. Right there. That is not, let's see, it's one of these corners. Yeah, that is not chamfered. So, if you're going to get one of these cylinders and, you know, you need to chamfer your edges anyway. back together here, let's take a look and see kind of where we ended up. You can see there the transfer, got everything beveled and chamfered. Exhaust down that way. See a nice chamfer on there. We got that all polished up, and then you got your intake over there. Yellow. But yeah, there's the exhaust all shinied up. Yeah, I guess we'll see what happens when the numbers go beyond conservative. We're 161 exhaust. I did do the JB weld, and I've got a plug in it there, so give that a minute to dry, and then we'll get it back together. For those of you asking, I did actually take this back off, use some Loctite, and put the gasket on there that wasn't really doing anything to begin with, but we'll put it back on there. Hopefully we can get it actually lined up. Now we are going to be using Moto Seal here to seal it back up, and don't want any down there on the crank. Light layer all the way around here. And doing it on the bottom here, it's got a notch and a recess for the vacuum from the lower end here, so we don't have to worry about getting sealant around that hole, because we're coming at it from the bottom side here. And I really wanted to do a lot of things on this one, but it's kind of a risk-reward situation. I mean, actually, I really wanted to just try it out stock, you know, to get an idea of where we were at to begin with. And that way, you know, I'd have a good baseline, and we could see kind of what, like, the high dollar, yeah, so this lines up over there. Okay, good. We could see what the high dollar just one last check over things. I mean, I've got it cleaned off, I've got it washed off, I've got it blown out, done that several times. It's just one last check around all of my chamfers, making sure everything is nice and smooth. Definitely smoother than it was from the factory, that's for sure. Okay. Gasket, okay. See if we can get our gasket lined up here. Yeah, I don't see anything there. Now we don't have to worry about lining up our gasket, but we do have to worry about lining up our head. Onto this Moto Seal, so we can just drop our screws down. Now, why is it kind of twisted? Alright, that gasket's in there. Nope, it's not on this side. Why is that not lining up? Do I have this gasket on upside down? Probably. Let's not panic. Make a move. Back down we go. Line up our gasket as we're coming down here. Yeah, I mean, that looks like how it's supposed to go. And looks like it's lined up here as good as it's going to get. Yeah, I mean, you got one side on one side and one side on the other side. And that's kind of how it goes. I don't know why it's acting kind of funny like that. And then this, why is this not lining up? What's up? Alright, I have updates. Let's see here. I still need to test for spark. You know what, let's just do that right now. Let's see, we got a CJ8. Okay. Try that on for size. Not stopped. See, no spark. See, stop is in, not stop is out. Till now. Oh, nope. We got good spark. I don't know if you saw it there. It was glimmering. Okay, so we got spark, so that's good. Okay, don't have to worry about spark at the moment. Ooh, I've got, okay, I got a new fuel line on there. The fuel line, the one that they said was the factory one, it doesn't actually fit. I didn't have any more, and I'm now not trusting the whatever kind of green kind is. I did get a 61 muffler. Now this is the eBay special for 54 bucks. And let's see here. Is it supposed to have a gasket? Oh yeah, there's a gasket. Okay, so this comes with everything except the hardware. I guess we'll just kind of rip it open. See how that gasket looks on there. Oh yeah. Yeah, that's fine. Okay. Now, is it these little screws that go all the way through? No. No, it's not. Where did these come from? Okay, I guess I'll have to figure out where those go. So what do we got here? What do we got left in the tool bag? Those aren't them. Is it these? Yeah, these are them. Okay, these are them. But look at what we got here. Ooh, ooh. She is speaking to me. Alright, so we're way beyond what everybody considers a safe port job. So we might as well add this big dual port muffler on there and just take it all the way, right? Yeah, let's do that. Okay, let me get some Loctite on these and find some missing hardware that was missing, and then maybe we can try to fire it up here. How's my hair? Is my hair okay? Yeah, my hair and makeup guy's off again. Oh man, I hate when he takes off. It's just a bad hair day every day. All right, we'll go no hat. Why not? All right, so here's our. Hopefully, it's a wolf in sheep's clothing. I just don't know yet. All right, so this is going to be the first attempt to start up. So let's see, half throttle, full choke, and I'm 1.5 out on each. Oh God! Really? I'm serious. This is fresh. This is a fresh build. That JB weld should be set up. The moto seal's been about an hour, but that's more. That's much more compression than I was expecting. That feels pretty substantial. Now again, oh, choke went in. No gas in the system. Oh. Why does the choke keep going in? I don't want you, choke. I don't want you to go in, choke. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Now. Now we let her cool down. Let's talk about that break-in. Oh, it's definitely man time. It is definitely man time. I don't know if you see the logo here and the trees there, but chainsaws have always been a big part of this channel, and I was always just content with kind of whatever junk came across my way. You know, if it ran and it cut down a tree, I was happy with it. And I stumbled upon, God, whose channel was it? I don't think it was the Tin Man's. I think it was Dino Joe. And until I saw his channel with actual factual data to show, like, you know, 20% power and horsepower gains and increases, I was just kind of like, it's fine. It cuts down a tree. But I went back and actually, after I saw that video, I went back and watched my video of me cutting down trees with the 031 and just seeing it struggling. I mean, just struggling. And using the steel all-in-one sharpening system, it takes the rakers down quite a bit, so you're pretty aggressive doing that. But I don't know, I got the bug. I found Tin Man's channel, and I was just like, man, I've got to build one of these muscle saw type of saws. And the 365 that I got it was honestly just in too nice a shape. I didn't want to do anything to it. I didn't have the timing wheel at the time. Got the timing wheel now, of course. But let's see, where did we end up? All right, so let's recap. Husqvarna 61, Italy Tech 52 millimeter, squish, 25 thousandths with no gasket. That's where I stayed. Started out at exhaust duration. What did I start off here? 150, 154, something like that. Blowdown. I've got all kinds of scribbles and notes and stuff. You saw it where it was initially, so we'll skip that part. Where did we end up? That's the important part, right? Exhaust. We ended up at 81 degrees before bottom dead center. So we ended up at 162. From what I can see, that's ragged edge of sanity, quote unquote, Tin Man. It's beyond what everybody says to do. So, I mean, that's kind of where I was headed. I kind of wanted to be around 79. I got to 78. So that's the other thing. Like, I ground to my line, it was at 78, and I was like, you know what, let's just keep on going. So I just kind of kept going. So we ended up at 162. That leaves me a blowdown of 23, and the intake, I ended up at 80. It was actually 79. Yeah, 79. So I ended up at 158. So there you go. 162, 23, 158. Those are the duration numbers for exhaust, blowdown. Well, blowdown is the difference between exhaust and... If you guys watch Tin Man's stuff, he's better at explaining all this stuff. And intake at 158. Somewhere's just below 80. 79. Yeah, I think it might have been 159. I think it might have been 79 and 80. Yeah, that's what it was here. It was 78 and 80 is what I got. So approximately 79 for 158 duration. And that was with, again, I put the piston in the lathe with the head of it up against the chuck, and then I took 40 thousandths off of the skirt. So that way I didn't have to take so much off of the jug. I've read you can run into problems taking that jug down quite a bit, right? If you take the jug down like 20 thousandths or something, you get interference, and there was definitely some fit-up issues here. So let's talk about the fit-up issues and the Italy Tech cylinder, right? It was really poor as far as the cleanup, but it was a good foundation. And for a 272 61/272 build that this turned out to be, it was a good foundation. Having all the tools, having the Fordham, having the knowledge to properly get to my numbers, get to my durations. And then, of course, the diamond ball bit to get my chamfer in there. Went through with 400 and then 1000 grit sandpaper after I chamfered with that diamond burr and did the whole cylinder like that. Cleaned it out, washed it out, lubricated it, put it all back together. Man, alright, so let's talk about the price, right? What was the price? What's the price of a new one? Alright, I just went on the Husqvarna website, a new 372, actually let's just go with the 365, because the 365 is a great saw. If this is better than a 365, I'll be super happy. 365 was 800, maybe it was 899. The 372 was like $1,100. So, I paid $100 for the saw. I paid $54 for the exhaust. I paid $35 for the cylinder, and then another $35 for the anti-vibe, mounts and stuff. And then I also went on eBay and got this might have been $20-some. Man, so much thanks to the people on eBay not scrapping their parts and putting them up for sale. Because this is like all of the nuts and bolts and hardware and the oil pump and, lines and bolts and, hoses. Man, thanks so much, everybody, putting their stuff out on eBay that don't need it or don't want it or have a business selling on eBay. I feel like I'm directly supporting American business when I buy U.S. Shipped stuff on eBay. So it makes me feel good. I'm happy to give you the money for it. Especially for old stuff like this, man, it's really nice getting OEM stuff. Really nice. So thanks so much for selling your old parts on eBay. I may have to get a new handle for this. Matter of fact, out of that nuts and bolts bin there, actually used one of the cylinder bolts. So now I've got an American. I don't know why they did that. They put American hardware and metric hardware on the same saw, but yeah, it even had that rubber grommet. There's a rubber grommet in the cylinder head on this side on the front, and I guess that's to keep it down. But this plastic bolt hole was stripped out and not good, so went in there with an engine bolt. The hardware kit that I got off eBay, it had another one of these plastic screws, but it was so stripped out. I may get a new handle for this one, although I like having my tools camouflaged as junk. Like, if you saw this, you would think, yeah, it's a 61. I paid $100 for it, and what did I say there? We're at 70 and 50, so we're at 225 plus that, so we're about 250. All right, so where was I going with that? All right, the upgraded Holzfforma that has the Italy Tech, and keep in mind the Italy Tech cylinder, and I showed you there in those upper transfers, those weren't chamfered all the way around. Those had a sharp edge that was unfinished, right? So at any point in time, that Italy Tech, if one of those Holzfforma saws with the nice carbon fiber dip and the Walbro carb, I looked at one of those. Honestly, I looked at one of those. I saw this at the pawn shop, and I walked away, and I said, the Holzfforma 372, the Pro Kit, right? It has a Walbro carb, has the Italy Tech cylinder on it, has the carbon fiber dip on it. I was like, you know what? I'm probably just going to get that. It was $400. I think it was around $400, like shipped from China. And I was like, you know what? That's probably going to be a pretty good saw. It's got the Walbro carb. It's got an Italy cylinder. I put that Italy cylinder on here. I wasn't happy with it. Definitely not happy with it. But if you were going to immediately take it apart and do what I did to it, you could probably get something pretty good. But you've got whatever crankshaft they're putting in there. That's one big thing with buying this older stuff. All right, so what did we say we were at? 250, somewhere around there. So I saved 150 from that one that I would then have to redo. Even though I had to redo this one, I still ended up saving some money on it. So, anyways, I've still got a few things to get, but not much. Once I found that bolt in that eBay parts kit. Another thing, I did order a clutch, which is going to be for like a 272, I think. Yeah. It was super wobbly, I mean, this one's got a little bit of wobble to it, but that one had a lot of wobble. So be careful with those aftermarket parts, because it's the sprocket is what it is. The sprocket holder, this hub thing, that was not working out. So, anyways, be careful with the aftermarket stuff. Let's fire it up one more time. See how easy it is to restart. Oh yeah, I wanted to talk. I'm rambling here, guys, but if you like this stuff like I like this stuff, man time happens in the forest, and the forest requires chainsaws. So my eyes have been opened to a new form of chainsaw, and I think I'm going to be super happy. But yeah, anyways. Alright, so, for the heat cycle there. What I do on my heat cycles, just like with my dirt bikes, there's a procedure for it. It's 5 minutes, just blipping it, and I was kind of blipping it more than usual there because I didn't have it set where it could actually idle it. It felt like it was going to die, so I was just kind of blipping it. But idling doesn't really get it up to temp. You want to get it up to temp. And on this second heat cycle that I'm going to do, I'm going to be holding it like about half throttle to 3/4 throttle, and then letting it come back down to idle. It's really important for the break-in. You've got that new cylinder that's all remachined, and you've got that new piston and that fresh ring and everything. You really want to heat cycle your stuff. So I do first startup is 5 minutes of nothing more than half throttle. Second startup is another 5 minutes, but with up to 3/4 throttle. And then after that, you're pretty much good to go. So I'm going to start it up one more time. If you find these videos enjoyable, if you get your man time out in the woods and you enjoy working on old stuff and making it better and making it faster, hopefully this channel makes you want to hit that subscribe button or that thumbs up button. It helps out me, helps out the channel, and yeah, that's it. I don't sell anything. Nothing's for sale here. I don't have an Amazon store. I'm not trying to persuade you into do anything. I'm just trying to give you the information. If you're looking to homestead, farm, build a house out in the woods on a budget, this channel is right up your alley. So let's see if it'll fire back up. I've done my one heat cycle. This will be my second heat cycle. So anyways, thanks for joining me today on Man Time, guys. Get out there, have you some man time too. See if it'll fire back up. Should I try to choke it?